Hello, I'm Tom Steiner Threlkel, the editorial director of multi-channel news and broadcasting and cable. And with me is Anthony Bourdain, the host of No Reservations and the author of Kitchen Confidential, A Cook's Tour, and Nasty Bits. Anthony, have you ever had a reservation about something that you're about to ingest on camera for No Reservations?
Yeah, it's happened. I mean, the warthog, the nether regions of unwashed warthog in Namibia come to mind. I had a pretty good idea that antibiotics were in my future.
And wasn't there some kind of spelunking you once did that had that same quality?
I didn't have to eat anything in the cave. We just went caving in Jamaica, and I was expecting someplace with guardrails and a gift shop, and found myself in sort of a crap slicked tube leading down to the
so there's
center
things
of hell.
that you get asked to do that you might have reservations about, like that. I mean, Uzbekistan massage.
I mean, I know I can't blame anyone but myself. I mean, I either if I don't come up with the ideas, I at least I'm working with very close friends. They do run all of this stuff by me. I have every opportunity to say yes or no. I just every once in a while one gets under the wire.
So No Reservations has a new owner, Cox. Has your approach to the show changed at all since Cox took over, or has any new approach been suggested to you by Cox, who's basically a neophyte in programming?
No, I haven't really kind of noticed they're there, other than the fact that there might be even a sort of a loosening of the grip, a sense of less kind of corporate worry that I might say or do something that would offend somebody somewhere, which is of course inevitable anytime you open your mouth on television. No, the relationship has stayed the same, which is to say, really good.
What do you think of the competition? And in particular, what do you think of the Food Network?
I don't think the Food Network's competition. I mean, they do, as far as my show's concerned, we're working different sides of the street. They're about personality, branded personality, building brands around personalities in the hope that they might sell cookware someday based on that personality and rake off a chunk of the profits. I like to think we actually have some interesting content.
But you're a branded personality as well.
Do I have I don't have a cookware line. I don't have any. There's no merch. I'm not selling merch. I haven't endorsed anything yet. Ever.
Will that ever change?
I don't know. I have a daughter now. Thinking about
how old?
It's like, you can only lose your virginity once, as far as branding. I guess I'm just kind of looking for the right guy.
What do you think about how TV has been married with the restaurant business over the last 5-10 years? I mean, you got everything from the Rocco DiSpirito, the restaurant reality show, to the cooking against competition stuff, the Iron Chef, the Throwdown, the Hell's Kitchen.
I don't know. I mean, I don't hesitate to, it's. When the emperor has no clothes, it's fun to point that out. In spite of the fact that we sort of bump up against issues in the world, by traveling and eating and going to different places, I bump up against issues that I kind of want to rant about. A lot of times I don't explicitly get political, but I do feel perfectly qualified to rage and use every bit of hyperbole at my command when I see something on television, particularly food television, that makes me angry or that I think is ridiculous or hypocritical or false. Semi-homemade on Food Network. Yeah, it makes me angry. And
you'd rather see Mario Batali on Food Network.
So I don't hesitate to speak my mind. If we're talking about food television or cooking, these are things I'm confident about.
Are you on speaking terms with Rachel Ray these days?
Were we ever? I'm grateful for every day that I wake up alive. I'm glad she hasn't had me killed. She has enough money to have me whacked, out of her what she spends on, manicures and pedicures. I'm sure there's room in the budget to, have a couple of Russians throw me into a shallow grave someplace. I'm glad it hasn't come to that.
Well, what words of advice do you have for people that eat out at this point? I mean, the New York Times did an interesting piece a week or two ago about the level of mercury in tuna and sushi.
Yeah,
you can't go to every restaurant, everywhere, check out every ingredient.
Even you don't need me, and you don't need a warning label to tell you that, the 6-pound donut, the Cinnabon, is probably fattening. You know, that if you eat too much sugar, you might get, you might get sick. How stupid do you have to be to not know that? I'm really, we're turning into a nanny state here. Even the Fish on Monday thing has become vastly overstated. Things are a lot better now with the proliferation of sushi. Chances are, most good restaurants, the fish will be okay on Monday. If you're going to the local saloon, they're in the beer business essentially, and the chef is planning on going skiing that summer and not continuing and building his reputation. At the restaurant, maybe Monday's not your day for fish, but beyond that, it's not a concern. I'm just not worried about these things. If you eat any place where people are proud of their food, as long as you don't do it in excess, I don't think people should be afraid to, take pleasure in food.
Even if it's still...
Your body's not a temple. It's an amusement park. Use good judgment and have fun.
What would you say to your audience if you had one thing to say about what holds up worldwide about serious eating out with no reservations?
Just that it's a big, beautiful world out there, and chances are, to really eat without fear. How bad can it be? What's the worst thing that can happen?
Well, you could die.
No, what I have found in my long experience eating on the road is that more often than not, if one of the crew gets ill, it's the damn breakfast buffet at the hotel.
And not the bugs in the cup on street food in Hong Kong.
If the locals are lining up to eat it, it's probably pretty good.
What's it like to be you?
Life is good. I have a travel channel that's very, very good to me. I've been having a good time.